so I can remove it.
Fuck you guys. We just had the best conversation off mic that you're never gonna fucking hear.
You'll never hear it. Not from us.
I made great points, had a great argument, knew exactly what I was talking about the entire time, and I don't think anybody would have disagreed with what I said. But you know what? You're never gonna hear it.
No, it's done. To the ether.
Yeah.
That happens to us frequently,
I can't.
actually.
Well, it's just like, we have so many excellent conversations because we're compatible and I love you and we're on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
But one thing I don't really want to do is fabricate a conversation. Like, I would hate to have a great conversation and then be like, okay, let's remember this and then we'll just have this conversation again on the podcast.
No,
like, I don't want to fabricate a conversation just for the sake of broadcasting.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, because so much about this show is natural and naturalistic, and like the things that I say to you and the things you say to me, right? So like, it wouldn't make any, like, halfway through the conversation we just had, which you'll never find out. Yeah. It's a secret.
It's a secret.
I was thinking to myself, like, this would be great for the podcast. Yeah. I should just, like, turn on the recording.
Yeah.
But by the time I had that thought, we had already laid the groundwork for the basis of our conversation, and they are now halfway through our points.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? Bring on the audience when it's like...
He's making his, like, prissy, like, fish, like, duck lips face. It was like, I just think that, peanut butter and chocolate, and that is why peanut butter and chocolate doesn't belong together.
I was going to say what we talked about, but then I remembered it's a secret.
It's a secret,
so you'll never find out.
I got a secret.
But
yeah, that's what I don't really like about podcasts. And, like, you can, like, I'd like to think that our audience is smarter than that as well, and that they will be able to tell if we are fabricating a conversation versus having an actual honest-to-goodness conversation.
Yeah.
And I don't like podcasts that are rehearsed. Really.
Are there many?
Unless it's something that's supposed to be rehearsed. Like,
well, yeah, like, we want to do some podcast formats that are, like...
more structured.
Definitely going to be more structured, more researched, more written. Yeah. Like, if you rehearse, out of curiosity, what's a podcast that you've heard that's rehearsed?
Well, I'm not really, like, thinking of one in particular. I don't have any examples. I just fucking leave me alone. Shut up. It happens. God.
I'm not, Sam, I'm not trying to fucking gimp you.
Well, like,
I'm asking for
believe me. I'm right. Jesus.
Wow. Oh my God.
I hate that. Do you have any examples? No, I don't have any examples. I just know it in my heart.
Because I'm curious.
I'm not writing an essay.
I'm not trying to
give you examples.
I'm not trying to fucking tell you you're wrong. I'm legitimately curious because if there is, like, I've never listened to a rehearsed podcast, but I believe that they're out there.
Or, like, I hate it when you're about to jump into, like, a comedy podcast or a storytelling podcast and the hosts are like, so Jessica's here and Jessica's gonna talk about the time that she dropped her pants in the middle of a grocery store.
Go!
And then the host will be like, yeah, like, and I remember when she talked about this and, like, it reminded me of blah, blah, blah. And then the hosts have a rehearsed conversation prior to the actual bit.
Sure.
Like the actual segment. And I'm like, stop this. Why did you rehearse your conversation? She dropped her pants in the middle of a grocery store. That should be fodder enough that you shouldn't have to rehearse anything.
Yeah, really.
You know?
Like, I think that, honest to God, if we were in that situation where, like, we bring some people on to hang out and they tell us a really funny story off mic, I'll be like, can you tell that story again on mic? But then I'm not going to have the same reaction that I had when she told it to me, or they told it to me naturally.
Well, what I would do then...
I'll be like, yeah, that was a great story.
Well, yeah, exactly. What we would do then is we'd be like, oh, that's a great story about you dropping trow in a grocery store. Do you mind retelling it again? And I'm going to hit record. And then you hit record. And then we do our funny reactions. And then I say, holy shit, you dropped your pants in the middle of a grocery store? That's the worst buns I ever saw, or something, like, you know what
Amazing.
I mean? Like, I would save my jokes and reactions and stuff like that for, like, the recording. But I just hate fake fucking people.
Yeah. Well, no, who wants to be fake on the internet, right?
Yeah,
the whole appeal, I mean, I understand that, like, listen, no one is 100% real on the internet. And I mean no one. As long as editing exists, no one is real on the internet.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
That's okay.
Because, listen, you wouldn't like me if I was 100% real on the internet all the time. I wouldn't like.
It's also, like, some things you need to think before you say.
I'm not going to be on fucking TikTok.
And it's not phony. It's just, like, you took the time to think about the things that you were putting out into the world.
Yeah. I'm not going to be on TikTok, like, taking a shit. Look at me take a shit. I'm going to point in the screen and little text boxes are going to pop up that make sometimes good but mostly really shitty points.
Or just, like, basic points.
Yeah.
Like,
really, really, like, oh.
I'm getting real sick and tired.
Are we talking about TikTok now?
TikTok is run by Gen Z, and Gen Z...
And China.
Gen Z, while smart, very, very smart, are kids. So stuff that I've known for years is stuff that they're just now realizing.
And they're always like, why is no one talking about this?
Yeah, they'll be like, why is everybody I cannot believe that Black Lives Matter isn't trending anymore. Breonna Taylor's not trending anymore. And I'm like, oh, so you're just learning now about the 24-hour news cycle and how quickly it just chucks topics out of the window.
Yep.
And then there'll be a TikTok that'll be like, we're still not talking about Breonna Taylor. And I'm like, I agree.
Yeah.
Hashtag justice for Breonna Taylor.
For sure.
Arrest and convict the cops who murdered Breonna Taylor, please. I'm still on the side of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have the energy to complain about the 24-hour news cycle anymore.
Yeah.
We know that it's shit and it doesn't work and it doesn't do stories justice.
24-hour news cycles are the death of our society, in my opinion.
It feels like kindergarten logic. There's still a wage gap between men and women. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Listen, man.
No, I know. Just because I'm not talking about it doesn't mean I don't know that it's there, nor that I want it, nor that I don't want it gone.
What do you have? Lack object permanence? Conversation permanence? If you're not talking about something, it's not real?
Yeah. No, yeah. It's bullshit, you know? I don't know what to tell you, man. It's basic. Men aren't as equal as women. Yeah, it's basic knowledge.
Yeah, man, that's fucked up. And it's
I realize that some of this is just occurring to you, but when you when you sit in your bedroom and you're pointing at text boxes, being like, men still are paid higher than women. Men still have better job opportunities. Yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to say. Of course, I quote this because it's straight facts.
Yeah.
But
and inform your friends.
But this seems like kindergarten logic. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
And I'm not trying to disparage the young generation. I'm not on TikTok, nor will I ever be.
Might be. There's some cool video editing powers that app has that I just want to fuck around with. I don't want to get famous. I just want to see what's up.
Listen, dog. We're in personal opinion territory here. I'm already on too many social medias.
Yeah.
And I really don't need to be on another one.
If I join TikTok, I'm not telling anybody about it. I'm just gonna make my little videos and fuck around with them and see what I can create.
And that's fine.
I think it's for a free app. There are some powerful there are some cinematic ass TikToks out there.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That aren't concerned with being, memey or anything. It's just people being creative with the app.
I agree.
And I want to fuck around with
I also just think
I wouldn't tell anybody about it.
No,
you're right. I don't need another social media.
I think that for every good TikTok, there's about 1 million ones that make me want to kill myself.
Yeah, and Vine was the same way.
The same thing. Exact same thing.
Not even just get mad at. It's just boring.
Well, it's just it. It's I don't know, man. I'm really maybe I'm just an old hat. I tweeted about this one time where it's I like the TikToks that I've seen of people who are speaking to the camera and making articulate, excellent points.
Yeah.
Not doing stupid dances and your elbow reaches a text box that says something and then your knee reaches a text box that says something.
Yeah.
For me, it's the same thing as K-pop stans posting dance routines on top of their ridiculous points that they make. You ever seen that on Twitter?
Yeah, I have. And I know what you're talking about.
And believe you me, I get it. I'm fucking gonna be 25.
Yeah.
And clearly I'm not in tune with the kids.
I was just gonna say,
I
that's
get
just
it.
a generational thing, though.
But I really just think that, I don't know. Again, I'm wearing my old hat here.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a point, say it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be cute.
Don't dance it.
Don't be fucking adorable in your stupid little dances.
Yeah.
Just fucking say your point.
If I can be the cool grandma for a second.
We are 24 and 26, by the way.
If I can be cool I know, but I got called a fucking Karen the other day, so I must by some teenagers, so I must appear old. It's not necessarily about I'm not taking this seriously because I'm dancing. It's about the juxtaposition of very, very serious topics with little dances that with simple enough choreography that anybody can pick it up.
And I have heard that TikTok does ban stuff based on vocal recognition. So there was a lot of people TikToking about George Floyd back when it was, when it was first happening, and especially about COVID and different things. And TikTok, the app, was deleting those TikToks.
That's gross.
So putting text in a video is a great way to circumvent the voice recognition.
Yeah.
And I'll give the kids credit. That's smart.
Yeah.
And listen, if you guys are out there making good points, I get, yeah, okay, am I a little annoyed that it's over a dance? Whatever. It's still a good point.
They had to, and like you said, with the voice recognition thing, like they had to adapt. And it's like, you're not just going to put text boxes up everywhere. Like that's not.
And I get that.
That's not attractive. That's
I
not
just
fun
feel
to
like.
watch, so they dance.
Like I just said, I feel like for every one video that's of, like, and listen, for every one video that they're making of like dancing and good points, there's just another one of someone dancing who are sometimes making really misguided and really bad points.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're not, this is bad. You are spreading fire.
We do that too, though. Like millennials are like the poster child for like retweeting a headline and like not reading the fucking article.
Yeah, of course. Of course. And listen, everything I say criticism-wise for TikTok can be applied to any of the social medias that I'm a part of. It can be applied to Reddit. It can be applied to Tumblr.
Yeah.
It can definitely be applied to Facebook. It can be applied to Twitter, especially.
Yeah.
Listen, our generation is not better than the previous generation at all. We're responsible.
Let
me finish. We are responsible for the next generation. That's how that works.
Yeah. Wait. You said that we're no better than the previous generation.
The generation after us is what I meant to say.
I think we're better than Gen Xers and Boomers. I think for sure.
But you know what? Gen Zers will be better than Millennials. That's how it should be.
No, that's how it goes.
That's how it should be.
That's literally how it's supposed to work. That's why I say we're better than Gen Xers, even though like I had the Gen X like aesthetic explained to me a couple months ago, and like I think it's actually kind of hilarious.
How would you explain it?
It's very like, I did this because the baby boomers told me to, and then they promptly shat on everything, but I didn't realize it until I was like 25 years into a job that I hate, that I wasn't going to actually go anywhere. Whereas like millennials, we knew from the jump that we were walking into a shit economic climate.
And I'd argue that Gen Zers figured that out even earlier than we did.
Because that's how generations work. You learn from the previous generation's mistakes. I think that our generation still held on. I think our generation could have been the first generation to really shuck post-secondary education and been like, this isn't for everybody.
Yeah.
If you don't want to be a doctor, if you don't want to be an astronaut, if you don't want to be a fucking pilot, you do not have to go to post-secondary school. It's fine.
Sure.
Like, find another avenue quickly, because another recession is going to fucking hit with this pandemic. And
if you're young and listen to our podcast, find a job that makes you money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that you can tolerate.
Or like realize that realize your passion, and then like please know that achieving that passion, that career that you're passionate about, doesn't always necessarily need post-secondary school.
Yeah.
Like, your parents are going to get so fucking mad at me for that.
Mine specifically?
Like, people, like, a Gen Zer who's listening to this with their parents, and, like, who, if they catch wind of that, which is never going to happen, but still, like, parents will get mad at me for that.
Gen Xer, by the way.
Yeah, will get mad at me for that, but I stand by it.
Who cares?
I stand by it.
Listen,
if you're not trying to be a fucking heart surgeon, maybe consider not going to university. But I will say, if you're not going to consider university, then consider another avenue. You know, if you're 17, 18 and you're fresh out of high school, I think that's the perfect time to take these shitty unpaid internships that aren't going anywhere, because your parents, some parents, the average parent, are still okay with you living in their house.
Yeah. So
you don't have like rent and food to worry about and all the things that other people have to consider when they're taking these unpaid internships and like fucking handicapping their life. I don't think handicap was a good word. I apologize. And fucking like handcuffing their life, you know, trying to work a part-time job and an unpaid internship at the same time. That shitty grind. You know, if you're fresh out of high school and you're not bogged down by tuition costs, you can take the money that you've been saving or your parents have been saving for tuition that they wanted you to use for university so badly, and like take an unpaid internship.
Make a life for yourself.
And like have a living with the savings, you know? Do something like that, you know? An apprenticeship or buy some like masterclass online in some capacity and like start your own business that way. Figure out how to start your own business that way.
For sure.
Or even just like, don't do university. Go to college more, because
college is perfectly
college
good.
is more practical.
Definitely.
Learn how to start a business, because so much of like passion projects are basically just starting businesses. If you're an artist in any capacity, you're a business.
I've said this on Twitter before, and I'll say it again. being an artist, especially an independent artist, is maybe 10% creative and passion and about 90% good business sense.
Yes,
you need to have good business sense.
Absolutely.
And I don't mean like all right business sense. I mean you need to have good
savvy.
You need to be business savvy. You have to understand how. And listen, I am not even there in terms of like my own personal understanding of business. I have a long way to go. Mm-hmm. I wish I realized this 4 years ago.
Yes.
Where I could have like started earlier.
Yeah.
And not, but I don't. Okay, so I want to comment on what you said about university. I agree. University not for everybody.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
And you might not get what you want out of it.
It's time consuming.
It's time consuming.
I know most basic programs are like 4 years, but an extra 4 years to not be guaranteed a job.
Yeah.
A job.
Opportunity.
Yeah, like job opportunities. Period. When you get out is like a lot of time to be out of commission.
But that being said, I do think that if you go to university, like personally, like we didn't have to go to university. We went to university for theater.
Yeah.
Which isn't like stupid or dumb.
No.
Because I don't regret going to university.
No.
At all.
And I will say the one thing that I uphold for like what, like I will stand by why I thought it was a good idea for me to go to university for theater is just the resources.
And the worldview.
Yeah.
It's important to expand your worldview. Go to a different place that you don't live.
Yeah.
And go to school there and learn about other cultures, learn about the world. Especially because if you're like me, and I went to a fucking Catholic school in Mississauga, like white bread Mississauga. Like I didn't learn a lot about the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So like when I went to UW and like met a bunch of like all my roommates are all multicultural and they're from all these different cultures, like it was such an amazing experience.
Yeah.
And I can't stress enough how university can do that for you.
Yeah.
Right? Don't get me wrong, it is still expensive and you might not need it.
Well, that's just it, right? Like I will uphold that the resources that university gave me were priceless.
100%.
No, I shouldn't say priceless because I'm literally going to be talking about money, so that's not a good word. But they were important.
They were invaluable.
They were helpful. But the resources that I gained were gained through privilege. I was able to afford university so that I could access these resources.
Same here. Yeah.
They shouldn't be behind a paywall as large as university tuition.
I agree with that.
Meeting people who work in the industry, who then introduce you to people who are even more involved in the industry than they are, and like telling you about like different like programs and mentorships and stuff like that. You shouldn't have to go to university for that. That it shouldn't be behind that.
There should be more avenues. There should be more avenues.
Just like the current world that we're in, I'm glad that I went to post-secondary for that.
Me too.
But it shouldn't be that way.
And I'm sure you feel the same way, but I learned a lot about artistry.
Yeah.
And like how, like I understand, I'm going to make this as vague as possible because it means something different to everybody, but how to make art.
Yeah.
How to develop a process for yourself.
How you want to make
art.
How
I want to make art.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And learning about passion and artistry in such a educational way, honestly, has proven amazing for me in these last couple of years.
Yeah.
Honest to God, like I don't think we'd even be making this podcast for 90 people if I hadn't had the experience that I had in university to learn about creating and like really being your biggest critic and like making what I would describe as quote unquote good art.
Yeah.
I know we make a podcast. You can argue whether or not that's art or whatever, but whether or not you agree that it's art, I could honestly say that creativity goes into it.
Yeah.
We have to be creative to do this.
You have to be creative to market it and, you know, tell people about it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I have theater school to thank for a lot of
100%.
that. So, I forget what the macro point was before.
You want more avenues for like what we experienced was really great and all, but it was over a massive bar of entry.
I was telling Gen Z not to go to college.
University.
Both.
Well, college and university are different in Canada.
Yeah.
They're interchangeable in these states.
Yeah.
But they are different in Canada.
Yeah.
So yeah, listen, guys, listen. I think if anything, if you're not going to go to university, you should understand as a young person, because I would if I go back in time and tell myself this, I would. Mm-hmm. You should understand as a young person that if you're not going to go away or go to university or post-secondary or any kind of higher education, whether it be courses, college, whatever, you need to understand that your worldview at 18 years old is not big.
Yeah.
And that goes for pretty much anybody.
Yeah.
And I say that because I think about 18-year-old Cam, who did not have a big worldview at all.
I still don't have a very big worldview.
You're right.
Bigger.
I could. Sky is the limit.
You went from Mississauga to Waterloo. Like I know it was more multicultural than your high school experience, but like Waterloo is still very white.
Oh, but I'm not. When I say worldview, I don't mean like I do mean physical positioning, like where you live in a city, but I also mean like interest in the world. Mm-hmm. Like when I was 18, my only interest in the world was like, oh, I like Japan because anime is cool. But no, but now I appreciate other countries for what they do far more than just their entertainment values.
Right.
Like, it's important to learn about other places and expand your worldview and understand that people are different, you know? I didn't understand that a lot when I was a teenager. Yeah. Really, when you think back to it. Yeah. So, yeah, that's why I think if you're not going to go to university, college, whatever, you have to find a way to expand your worldview. Yeah. Because that's how you grow as a person. Yeah. At least in my opinion. Definitely. In my very humble, very uneducated opinion.
Definitely. For sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a lot of hope for Gen Z, but y'all are fucking mean.
Are you salty that they made fun of millennials?
Just like some of the things that they make fun of is like the next generation is going to do the same fucking shit to you. I don't know what you're talking all this shit for. I can't wait for the day that the next generation makes fun of fucking fan cams and TikTok boys, and you really made Madison Beer famous. Like,
the fuck is Madison Beer?
She's a famous TikToker.
Oh,
yeah, like really famous.
What's her thing?
Dancing and being hot. I'm not fucking joking.
I believe you. That's why I'm laughing.
So many of the TikTokers with the most followers are just like hot.
I mean, not for anything, dude. Like, and again, I want to stress that all of our talks and criticisms are come from a place of just like trying to understand. In my opinion, when it comes to younger generations, I think about the younger generations who like love like Jake and Logan Paul, right? Who are like way into Jake and Logan Paul. Like when I was a kid, I would watch YouTube like Smosh, and as time went on, like Game Grumps and like all these other channels that I like, and think, I want to do what they do. I want to make funny videos, and I want people to like them, and I want people to form this community around this thing I created.
Smosh was making like 5 to 7 minute skits.
Exactly.
Like sketches.
I was thinking about like, oh, how did they record that, and how do they edit it? Like that, how physically, how do they do these things? In my opinion, a lot of popular YouTubers nowadays are just about like, look how fucking rich I am. And you have a whole generation of people being like, I don't want to create the content. I want to make the money. I want to own the nice car. I want to live in the huge house. I want to date all these beautiful people. And I think that kind of like how 24-hour news networks are tainting all the rest of society, I feel like this chase for wealth and this chase for clout and not an appreciation for the medium that these people built these empires on is corrupting people, if that makes any sense.
I think that that's a branch of it.
It's also a very personal opinion.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to say that this is the way. This is certainly just what I think.
This is okay, let me walk you through this, because this is tough for me, because my first instinct is like, yeah, I agree with you. Like, wealth and like attractiveness are like two things that this generation is just like so obsessed with.
Yeah.
We did that too, though.
100% we did.
In different ways. Right? Yeah. Because like when I was, oh my God, I saw a clip of the My Happy Ending video for Avril Lavigne from like 2006 or whatever. And I thought that Avril Lavigne walking around in combat boots and like a black and pink tutu was like the peak of fashion. I was like, I can never, I mean, it's sad because I was like, I can never pull that off because like I'm black and I have curly hair. So like
but you have long legs. You could totally pull that off.
But I was like, this is what's hot. Like, this is what attractive people are. And I have to get as close to this as my like black and curly haired body can be.
Sure.
So, and, you know, like these days, some Gen Zers for sure have like Tana Mongeau and fucking Madison Beer and I'm trying to think of other like hot social influencers. I can't think of a whole lot right now. But I every once in a while I'll look at like people's Snapchat story and like, which is also me dating myself. But and just like see like the celebs, the hot celebs that everybody's talking about now. And I'm like, you're just hot. Like, yeah. That's all it is. And I'm sure people looked at Avril Lavigne and thought the exact same thing. And I'm sure people looked at Hilary Duff and thought the exact same thing. And I'm sure people, and you know, like this whole like obsession with wealth and like, it's not about the craft, it's about the wealth. People were looking at fucking like the Into Club video for 50 Cent and like, you know, like the rappers like him at the time who were talking about like chains and grills and clothing and houses and cars. And they were like, these kids are being bamboozled by this like fake, you know, like accumulation of, I don't want to say wealth, just like riches.
Okay.
Because like it's like that Chris Rock bit, right? Where it's like Bill Gates has wealth, Shaq is rich.
Right,
you know?
right.
Like
I see what you mean.
the person who writes Shaq's checks is wealthy, but Shaq is just rich. You know, like Rick James was rich,
Right.
and then he was not rich. He lost it all. He was not wealthy.
Did that to himself.
You know, wealth lasts. What these TikTok houses like Hype House and stuff like that are perpetuating is just riches. It's fleeting.
See, I agree with what you're
Well, I just want to finish my point.
Oh, okay.
Like, just like, yeah, no, I agree with you. We're like, some Gen Zers definitely see these people, these influencers, and idolize them. But A, we were not immune to it when we were their age. So, like, this is clearly just a thing that you go through.
For sure, yeah.
And B, there's one in every generation. It's just different permutations of the same fucking thing.
Right.
You know, like, this generation has Hype House, but we had, you know, like all the music videos, not just rap, like pop videos were really bad for this too. The like gratuitous shots of giant mansions with big cars and like fancy cars and like clunky jewelry that was like really ugly, but you could fit as many diamonds in it as you possibly could, and that meant that you had fucking made it.
Right.
And we were like, you know, like maybe back in the day I wasn't like, I want to have a big ass chain like 50 Cent. But I certainly wanted to have his money.
Okay.
You know?
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, we all have it, you know? And it definitely, like, it is just crazy to me that down the line, I'm like, these kids these days, like, they believe fucking anything Jake Paul says and blah, blah, blah. It's also like, man, the population of Gen Zers who are Jake Paul fans is like a sliver.
It's infinitesimal.
A sliver of the pie.
Compared to the...
Really not that big.
Okay, so
there are tons of Gen Zers who think that Jake Paul is whack as hell and always thought that and never liked his videos, even before he was problematic. So, it's just a thing.
I hear what you're saying, and I agree with you to a certain extent. The thing is, I think there's one fundamental difference, and I think it causes this result, because like... So I'll use your music video thing as an example, right? Like a 50 Cent music video with him where he has like big ass chains and like a huge mansion and all these women and all these cars and shit, versus like Jake Paul making a TikTok of him walking through his actual garage full of Corvettes or whatever, right? The difference is, in my opinion, that's a music video. These wealths, the riches and the things that rappers rap about,
everything's loaned.
Is literally loan, but also in terms of the writing is symbolic of a lifestyle of like, you're listening to this and you might not be rich, but this is my experience and the money and the career that I've gotten this far.
Yeah.
50 Cent's probably not a good example, but maybe he doesn't actually have these massive chains that he wears in these music videos and wears them every day, right? It's indicative of the music he writes, and it's about his experience and about, in a way, when you listen to music, the experiences you hear about in music are the experiences you put in yourself. Because when I hear like, I don't know, it's a good example. Like J. Cole, I guess, would be more apt. Rapping about how society's all fucked up and how he made it out and now he's this fun-loving guy who loves to rap. Like, that to me, it's hard to explain. I'm not doing a good job. But it's like, when I listen to that, I think about like, oh, like that's the kind of image that like I would like of this guy who's like making art.
That's
and
the image that you wish was projected to you.
Yeah.
All those years ago when 50 Cent was talking about.
But he is rapping about like killing dudes and like, being a gangster and like wearing baggy clothes and big chain. Like I don't identify with any of that.
Yeah.
But it is in his music.
Yeah.
Versus someone like Jake Paul with his cell phone going into his real garage, like in his house, and being like, look at my 50 Corvettes.
Yeah.
Like that's not a music video.
Yeah.
That's his fucking garage.
Yeah.
And I think as a result, you get a lot of people who, like, I'm not doing a good job of this, but what I want to come around to is that I think a lot of current big YouTubers and TikTokers make their career off condescension. Like, I'm rich and I have all this because I'm better than you.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it comes off as.
Yeah.
And that's what I think that was what wasn't in the art that we had when we were growing up.
I see.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see what you mean. Where, like, 50 Cent could say... He could say in a music video, I'm rich, I'm better than you, I'm good to go. And you could walk away from it all and be like, well, that chain was on loan, that car's a rental, and that's not actually your house, that's a set.
Yeah.
On a set.
This is a constructed and edited music video.
Yeah.
This is an entertainment experience.
Or there's like computer editing and stuff like that behind that. Whereas this generation nowadays, like Jake Paul can say, I'm rich, I have all these chains and cars and jewelry and stuff like that, and it's actually physically
It's like
there.
it's his.
And it actually makes you feel like shit about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because Jake Paul is like our age. I'm 26, you're 25.
24.
24, turning 25. Pardon me. And these like 14, 15, 16-year-olds who like chronologically speaking, if Jake Paul is 26 and like a 17-year-old sees that, he's only got 9 years on you. And 9 years to make like $35 billion is like not a lot of time.
It's impossible.
So I can see where you might feel as a teenager that like you failed already in a sense, and you feel like shit about yourself, and you're not even out of high school yet.
Yeah.
So I see what you're saying in that sense, where it's like a lot of the people that Gen Z has to look up to are like real people who really do have all of the things that they're bragging about. And then they kind of say that you're shit for not having it.
That's what gets me.
Or that you're not
about it.
motivated enough, or that you didn't do XYZ well enough, soon enough, fast enough, properly, or whatever to have what they have.
The condescension
and you can't walk away from it. You can't turn the screen off and be like, oh, well, that was fake, because it's real.
Yeah.
Jake Paul really did live in that fucking house.
Yeah. It's his fucking house.
It's a real house that's there and he's in it.
And listen, I perpetuate this a little bit too in terms of like when I tweet about opinions, but the condescension on social media has to stop.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it's okay, I guess, if you want to make a joke or like, I don't know, like I frequently quote tweet people and be like, this is a bad take.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, like I don't tweet things that I think are actively trying to make people feel worse about themselves.
I need people to stop equating poverty with laziness.
Like, come the fuck on.
I need you to do it.
Grow up.
I need you to stop.
You seriously can't see in 2020 how many factors go into the people's economic position more than just working harder.
Yeah.
Like, come on, grow up.
Yeah.
Read a fucking newspaper.
Yeah.
Like, give me a break.
Get the fuck together.
Really, really irks me.
Honestly.
Like, I'm sure you saw this. There was this tweet of this, like, granted, this very athletic man doing this, like, this pole jumping thing.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
And someone was like, what's stopping you from doing this? Like, the fuck would you fucking mean?
Where do you do that?
This is also not...
I don't know where to do that my town.
Do you think that this was this guy's first try?
Yeah.
Do you think that this is the first time he did this?
Yeah.
No, he rehearsed it and practiced.
Yeah, millions of times.
Also, where the fuck, like you just said, where the fuck am I getting these poles?
Yeah.
Where am I going to set them up? It's so dumb. It is so fucking dumb.
I can name, let's see, there's like 2 or 3 like alternative gyms. I'm thinking like indoor like rock climbing walls and like CrossFit training, like agility training type gyms in my city in Kitchener, and none of them can prepare you. Even if you went to Grand River Rocks every day, that wouldn't prepare you for hopping posts.
No.
Like cylindrical posts. Like you can't train enough to do that. Like, that's such a niche.
It's also an asinine thing to make people feel bad for.
Yeah.
It's no different than when the CERB payments were going around. CERB in Canada is our emergency response benefit for those who couldn't work during COVID.
Yeah, it's the $1,200 y'all in America got once that we got every single month.
Yeah, and we got $2,000.
Yeah. Instead.
Due to it,
but it's getting taxed, so I'm not going to brag too much.
Again, well, I mean, whatever.
CERB payments, people making you feel bad for taking CERB.
So I saw this tweet that was like, you got $2,000 from the government. I got $2,000 from my side hustle. We're not the same.
Yeah.
And it's like, dog, it's money.
Yeah. Like, man, shut up.
Also, fuck you.
Shut the fuck up.
What the hell is your problem?
Like, that's so disgusting.
It's like, you're seriously shitting on people for being like, well, I can't work and literally cannot make money.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you have kids?
Yeah.
Do you have a family?
No.
Oh, you don't? Oh, okay. Well, then, like, let's maybe take into consideration the fact that, like, people got kids and that takes up time,
That person is probably some punk-nosed fucking millennial who thinks they're better than everyone else and is shitting on people because it makes them feel good.
Yeah.
And that's what irks me about that. The condescension.
Yeah.
People being condescending, I think, is my least favorite thing in the world.
Yeah.
Like, there is nothing that'll make me dislike you faster to find out if you're condescending.
Well, then, like, it's hard, right? Because you, on the one side, and this is why sometimes I just gotta close Twitter and just do my own fucking thing for a while. Because on the one side, you have people saying, you are on your own path, and shit's gonna happen for you at different times than everybody else. And you can't control that. Just keep your head down, Do your best. Be passionate, be kind, work hard, and you'll get there.
Yeah.
I don't care if you get it at 21, and I don't care if you get it at 37 or, 87 or 92,000, Like,
sure.
Just get there when you get there, and just focus on you and your path, and just do that. And then the tweet immediately after that is some dumb shit like, you have the same hours in a day as Beyonce. Why aren't you Beyonce yet?
Why aren't you Beyonce?
Why aren't you Beyonce yet, motherfucker? Like, get the fuck out of here.
I fucking hate that.
That's the
I really genuinely hate that.
It's the constant streamline of different consciences that I just can't take anymore. I can't handle being told to take my time but also hurry up at the same time anymore. I'm 26 years old. Yes, I still live with my mom. Yes, I don't have a job right now. Yes, I'm trying to write a screenplay. I'm sorry that I'm not fucking Judd Apatow yet.
Right.
But I'm fucking figuring it out, man. I'm here. I started this channel. I'm taking it seriously. I'm trying to turn it into a true blue, honest to goodness business. I am literally trying to write. I took a whole mentorship program with a bunch of other writers to try and become a better writer. I'm not just sitting in my mommy's house in the basement fucking typing away, hacking whatever. I'm I'm reading a book about it. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying. I'm sorry that I didn't get there before 21. I'm sorry that I didn't make it on the Forbes list before I did anything else.
That's unrealistic. It's completely unrealistic.
I'm sorry, but I'm also not sorry, because this is my path. This is all I can do is work with what I got, Whatever Beyonce had, she had. And for what it's worth, that came with its own sacrifices.
Of course it did.
Must say. I love the amount of interaction that we're able to have with the few people that do follow us. And Beyonce cannot have that because she's too big.
Too famous, yeah.
People love the secretiveness with which Beyonce projects come out. And I'll admit, it's titillating. And she's made it work for her in a way. But I'm sure she would love to just fucking, have a Discord.
Yeah, really.
She can talk to the people who share her interests at the same time.
I agree.
And I'm sure she has a Finsta or some shit like that. But the fact that she has to have a Finsta to be able to enjoy Instagram is, for me personally, myself, Sam, a lone person, is a little sad.
A little lonely, actually.
I think that for the grandeur that Beyonce is able to accomplish, it comes with those sacrifices. I had to sacrifice being financially comfortable and ensuring that my great-grandchildren are rich. Beyonce has that and I don't. But I can talk to people in ways that Beyonce can't talk to people because she's simply too big.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a give and take with everything. And you can't poo-poo somebody for not being Beyonce, because being Beyonce comes with its own pros and cons.
Yeah.
I come with my own pros and cons. And that's enough. And that's fine.
And listen, dog, do you think Beyonce, all Beyonce did was just work harder?
People think that Beyonce was
Fuck off with that thinking.
People think that Beyonce was poor. Beyonce's mother owned her own hair salon, her own business, and her dad worked for Xerox or something like that. Beyonce grew up middle class. She had she had the same one-ups that I had, actually, probably. And then her parents had the wherewithal to put her in pageants, so she learned how to perform and be gracious in a way that crowds expect her to.
Especially from where she grew up.
She grew up in a decent household in 3rd Ward in Texas.
Yeah.
She didn't grow up in fucking Compton. Mm-hmm. She didn't grow up, granted, Kendrick Lamar grew up in Compton, and he has a Pulitzer and is a little bit older than I am.
I'm not saying
and
that.
I do not have a Pulitzer.
Let me finish
but
this.
Different circumstances, Different circumstances.
Also,
I can't judge or not judge.
Well, it's just okay, what really irks me about the people who say oh, why aren't you working as hard as this person? Is okay, why don't you tell me the work that they're doing harder?
Yeah.
Because I have no doubt that they are working hard.
Oh,
no,
absolutely.
Of course not. Not trying to disparage that whatsoever.
Absolutely.
But do you think that these people had no help?
Yeah.
That is fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Everyone has help.
Beyonce's dad managed her for the first 10 years of her career.
If you're an artist, you need help. That is non-negotiable.
Yeah.
You need people around you to help you.
And you need good people. And sometimes getting those good people is dumb luck. The dumbest luck.
Do you think Beyonce got to where she is, no doubt through hard work and being talented and being good at what she does, of course.
Yeah.
But she also had shit work out.
Yeah.
She made the right choices, granted.
Yeah.
But then those choices blossomed into other opportunities.
Yeah.
And that's really great.
Yeah.
But that's not how it works in real life.
Or it's just...
For everyone.
It's just the fucking way the cookie crumbles, man. I don't know. Like, yeah, I could have learned how to be a performer like Beyonce, you know? I could have run fucking 8 miles or whatever it is Matthew Knowles made her run every day while singing to, you know, like really hone my voice and like get all the training and stuff like that. Nothing's stopping me from doing that now even. But different strokes for different folks, man.
You gotta focus.
Like, it's just... I gotta throw my hands up at one point and say, like, yes, I could be Beyonce, but I'm not Beyonce.
Also, these people who are saying this,
not.
Just Twitter accounts.
Yeah.
I'm not even convinced they're real people.
Yeah.
I think they're bots that exist to incite conflict.
I think they are just mean people. Or people who feel emboldened because they're not arguing face to face. If you actually met them in real life, they would have something different to say.
I agree.
At the end of the day.
I agree.
We're all guilty of it. But
these people are especially guilty of it, though.
I could do some of the things Beyonce has done that has made her successful. I could also do some of the things that Ava DuVernay did that made her successful. But
there's no guarantee that it'll work out for you, though.
I'm not Beyonce. I'm not Ava DuVernay. I'm not...
Listen, man,
I'm trying to think of... I mean, like, all that's in my head are powerful black women all the time, always, constantly. But I am Sam. Mm-hmm. I am me. Yeah. And I have my path. So I'm going to do what I think is best for me to the best of my ability. And that's like... As much as he's my celebrity crush right now, like, part of the reason why I'm also so interested in Pete Davidson is because he is exactly the same age as me and was an SNL cast member by the age of, like, 20. And I was like, damn. And he was just, like, doing stand-up routines in clubs and stuff at, like, 16 years old. And I was like, damn, why didn't I, you know, and, like, grew up, like, single-parent household, like, difficult childhood, all that stuff. And, like, why didn't I didn't have any of that. Why didn't I go to comedy clubs when I was 16? You know? Like, I
have an answer for that.
Why didn't I go to Toronto? Because I'm not funny.
No, it's not. No, it's...
Because I don't know how to do stand-up.
And proximity. He lived in New York.
I live near Toronto. Staten Island is still a trek to get into the mainland.
But SNL is not based in Toronto.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. You have to remember, right? I'm not you specifically.
Yeah.
Royal you.
Yeah.
If you live out in the middle of bumfuck Alabama, thinking to yourself, why aren't I in the movies? It's because you're not in LA, where they make movies.
And then LA is expensive on top of that.
Like, you need to, I quantify this within myself.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to make art, proximity is important.
Yeah.
Every artist, and I do mean every single one that I've ever conferred about in terms of getting into art, has told me at some point in time that I have to live in Toronto.
Yeah.
Based on my proximity.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing.
Because artists and companies, and they have a good reason not to, aren't going to hire you if you live 3 hours away.
Yeah.
Or even an hour away. Mm-hmm. I live in fucking Mississauga. That's not far from Toronto.
You live like a 40-minute train ride at most.
With no traffic? A 20-minute drive.
Yeah.
There's never going to be no traffic, though.
No.
But... proximity is maybe like the third or fourth most important thing.
Yeah,
when it comes to getting into institutions.
I do have to remember that as well. Yeah.
Like, oh, why aren't I winning Oscars? It's because you're not in any movies made in LA.
Yeah, that's screen in LA.
Like, you know, like,
yeah.
And believe me, like, that's just something that everyone, including myself, can stand to remember.
Yeah.
You know, like, why can't I get into a Broadway play? Because you don't live in New York.
You don't live in New York.
Like,
yeah. And that's, God, I want to fucking murder these rags to riches ass stories about like the select few people who get so lucky enough, like maybe somebody sees a video of them doing stand-up in bumfuck Alabama and is like, I'm gonna fly you out to LA, you're gonna stay in my house, and I'm gonna make sure that you get to where you need to go. Yeah, which is like so lucky.
That's only a 1 in a million chance.
So lucky.
Only like a 0.1% chance of happening, but whatever.
Jennifer Lawrence was literally walking down the street in New York City. She didn't live in New York. She was there on a family trip with her family, which a lot of people do every year. Mm-hmm. And a scout found her and then gave her their card and was like, you should do stuff. And that happens all the time. It is not always a reputable agency who is handing you that card. the slim chance
lucky,
that somebody will A, notice you in New York City, where there are dimes everywhere.
Sea of people.
And that the person who notices you believes in you just from looking at you. Okay, there's another slim chance that they're like, oh, that person will be really good in movies. And then that person is actually like a good resource for you to start a career with. And
Jennifer Lawrence is lucky she's not
like fucking pedophile.
She's lucky she's not in porn right now.
Yeah. She's lucky that person didn't do fucking porn. Like, or you know what? No, I rescind that, because legit porn, not disgusting porn, is fine.
Well, my point was, I don't think Jennifer Lawrence wanted to be a porn actress when she was approached by an acting agent
with her mother by her side.
You know,
right? Yes, I see what you're saying. But yeah, she's lucky that the person who just so happened to notice her wasn't some skis-ball. Those are such slim chances. There's a reason why it's only happened to Jennifer Lawrence. Is because there's a slim chance of it happening. And then it already happened to somebody. So it's not going to happen again.
Nope.
Not for a while.
That universe juice got used up.
Exactly. On Jennifer Lawrence. So she has, and like, good for Jennifer Lawrence, but like, she has her career and it's only going to work for her.
Yeah.
So my plebeian ass has to figure out my own way. And it's going to take longer, which means that I'm not going to be where I want to be at 21. I'm already not.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
there also is the fact that like I did start and finish a degree, and that's an accomplishment in and of itself. The fact that I had a degree finished before I was 25 put me on a fucking Forbes list.
Yeah, for real.
Like, do you want to fucking leave me alone maybe with these Forbes lists, like top 20 under 20 or whatever the fuck? Like, leave me alone. I'm so sick of it.
Half the time when you see these people who are top 20 under 20 come from old money. Mm-hmm. Like, dude, like, I hate to say it, but it's just, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm not trying to say these people don't deserve their money or whatever, but it's like, if you're a part of the masses like we are, looking, like, first of all, I guess what I'm really, the short long of what I'm trying to say is stop idolizing billionaires. Half the time, people who are billionaires were born into that money. Just
billionaires, just be honest with the, it's like what you said right now, like, you really brought me back down to earth with the whole Pete Davidson thing, where it's like, yeah, like, he lived a ferry ride away from the best place to do stand-up in
the world.
In the world.
In the world.
Like, I'm going to say that. Like, don't start a stand-up career in LA. New York is the best place if you want to be a stand-up comedian and get noticed and like make money off of it. New York is the best place to do it, and he was already there.
Yep.
So you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for pointing that out.
Wow, it's been a long time.
No, it hasn't. Cameron, turning into one of those couples.
I was joking.
Please. I know, but I don't even want to jokingly turn into one of those couples who are just like, my wife hasn't told me that I'm right in 37 years.
No, disclaimer, everyone. Sam tells me I'm right all the time.
It happens more than...
Because I am right all the time.
Yeah, we're both smart people, and we're both equally smart, and we're both equally right often.
Yeah, high five.
Right on the booty.
There it is.
So yeah, like... I've just been thinking about that a lot lately, because it's been showing up in lyrics too. There was this song by Chloe and Halle that I really, really used to like called Everywhere. And the chorus is like, I have money everywhere, floating in the trees. I have money everywhere, like blah, 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 blah. And it's like the overall like thesis of the song is like, I'm rich. Why aren't you rich? And it's like, bitch, because I'm not. Like, none of your business. Leave me alone,
There's
children.
So much. You literal children?
You literal, extremely talented, angelic-voiced children. Yeah. I understand. What are the chances? There are so many Beyonce YouTube covers on YouTube that are so good. So good. Mm-hmm. And Chloe and Halle also made them. But for whatever reason, the algorithm showed Beyonce, Chloe, and Halle. And she was like, those two. And she was right to do so because they are so talented.
They are.
But there are other so fucking talented people doing Beyonce covers on YouTube right now, doing it the exact same way that Chloe and Halle were doing it. They're just not getting noticed by Beyonce. And I don't know why. I literally don't know. And I don't control it. Good for Chloe and Halle, but not everybody can be Chloe and Halle.
I imagine
it's
that
not going to happen.
For most, it's impossible to be Chloe and Halle.
Yeah. So you work with what you got.
I'm a 24-year-old, like 300-pound white guy. I can't be Chloe and Halle. I can't be Ariel.
Yeah, but you know what? You were recording your voice acting voice reel today, and Chloe and Halle can't do half the shit that you did in that voice reel.
Oh, well, thank you.
Dead
That's
ass.
Very nice of you to say.
So, and that's not to disparage them. It's just they're like you're talented and they're talented, and like
stop comparing. Everyone, just stop comparing.
You know, there's enough success out there for everybody. Just like stop rushing it.
You know, like I had this conversation with you as well as your mother, and then my friends later. We didn't really get to talk about this too much this podcast, but you and I came back from a trip recently. This last week we were away at a cottage.
It was glorious, and I had a great time.
Yeah, and it was I
know I don't have a job right now, but I needed a vacation. It was nice and it felt good.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, Sam. I didn't realize how much of a boiling point I was at until I went to the cottage and really decompressed. I was quite stressed out, and it was exactly what I needed. But I also read The Shining, which is a great book, by the way.
Yeah.
But then we were talking about it with everyone I just said, and the conclusion we came to is that you really can't compare the movie and the book. And
we're just switching gears completely.
But no, I'm going to relate it back to my point where it's like, it is fine if you can't compare things. Enjoy what you're comparing on its own. That's just the way. Like, there's so many discussions. And I have this with a lot of people, especially in the video game scene, like especially in video games, where everything is thrown against everything else. There's no game that can just be enjoyed. It's got to be better than this game. Yeah. Or what's it like to this game? Or does it hold a candle to this?
Is Chloe and Halle the Dark Souls of breaking into the music industry?
But like, they're not getting distracted. I've had people come to the store looking for like a racing game and then ask me if it was better than some fucking third-person action-adventure game. Right. It's like, how the fuck do you compare that?
Yeah.
Like, are you a monkey?
Yeah.
Like, is your brain just like binaries, like black and white, like nothing else?
Yeah.
Like, it really, really, really grinds my gears. Just enjoy things for what they are. You don't have to compare them to everything.
Yeah, I know.
And that goes for people.
I know.
Like,
just enjoy Chloe and Halle, or like Chloe and Halle. Can you just enjoy your success and not fucking call me poor?
Yeah, really, eh?
Like, can you just be really good singers and not call me poor?
We like you guys. I'm really excited to see the Little Mermaid live action movie. It's probably going to be really good.
And like, Do It is a really good fucking song. It's really, really good. And their performance is really, really badass. You know, considering the fact that they had to do it like social distancing and like live from their tennis court.
What a shame.
They had to film it in their backyard, and their backyard has a tennis court and like looked really good.
Listen, man.
But they did it nonetheless. They made do with what they had, and what they had was a mansion.
Their unfiltered voices are amazing.
So gorgeous.
Like, I was watching this video on Twitter
are beautiful.
of them doing some Instagram live thing. It might even be the thing you were talking about.
Yeah.
And their unfiltered, unedited, unproduced voices are like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, honest to God.
They
like,
have that raw talent.
Maybe I'm ignorant, but they might be like one of the best singers that I know of. For sure.
Of this generation, yeah.
Yeah, like just like in terms of like
as their career goes
raw
on, they're
talent,
only gonna get more and more legendary.
They don't even need a backing band. That's how fucking talented they are.
Nope.
So like, yeah, kudos to them.
Yeah.
I'm also talented,
all the
though.
fun of listening to acapella without having to go to a Glee show.
Oh wow. No,
and I don't even just mean like Glee, like the TV show.
No, it's acapella
I mean,
in
like,
general. Yeah.
I mean like Glee clubs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, I guess that's what Glee is based on.
Yeah.
These actual real Glee clubs.
Yeah.
I never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
Do you think that Glee clubs have been pissed off now that Glee the show has like co-opted that?
I think it's a mix of both. I think that Glee clubs, well, first of all, I think that Glee clubs are more of an American thing. I know that they started popping up in my city after Glee got popular because there was an interest in like people who were already into like musical theater were like, oh, this looks really fun. And then like joined a Glee club and like the need for it arose.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in America, I think Glee clubs are probably like, yeah, like it's not that at all.
Right.
Most of our Glee club 10 years later is still alive, fortunately.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Rest in peace, Naya Rivera.
Real talk.
Yeah.
Real sad. That's another thing we haven't really talked about.
Yeah.
But
well, it's like, what else is there to say? Like, there was no foul play.
Yeah, and not too many jokes we can make about that.
She used her last like bit of strength to save her son, which is like the ultimate mother move.
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
rest in power.
Rest in peace. Yeah. Yeah. Love you.
Yeah.
But also just like all the drama. I when I made that joke, I was thinking specifically of like Lea Michelle's behavior on set, and like how there's always one fucking Lea Michelle in every single Glee club.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? The reality of it is that the Lea Michelle in like the real life Glee clubs is probably not successful right now.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
You
But
know?
went on to have a really, how you would say, normal life.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Thought she was going to be the next fucking Bette Midler. Just is a person now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has a life, and that's fine.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Everyone's okay.
It's all fine.
You're okay. And Lea Michele is okay. And other people in Glee clubs are okay.
Yeah.
No sense in comparing yourself to others.
Yeah.
Because it's only going to demote you in your brain.
And, like, if you really look at yourself, like, if I think about myself, I have accomplishments
Sure.
under my belt.
Yeah.
They don't look like youngest ever SNL cast member, first black woman to do XYZ LMNOP, Oscar award winner, fucking, like, fucking, you know, all the big studios are knocking at my doorstep trying to get me to do projects with them, you know, like, it doesn't look like that, but
you still have accomplishments.
You know, like, I know that everybody diminishes having a BA now, but I did start and finish a university degree.
There's lots of people who don't have BAs.
That's an accomplishment. Like, that's a good thing that I did, you know? Like, I have people in my industry who are, like, interested in me and rooting for my success, and I see that as an accomplishment. There are really, really talented people out there who believe in me.
Don't compare yourself to famous people.
Really
what the
good
fuck?
to know.
Yeah.
Just because those people aren't Beyonce, you know, still, Matt and Karen from Greenlight Arts, like, saw something in me and, like, believe in me, and that feels really good, and I think that that's an accomplishment.
Of course it is.
So
it's because these fucking Twitter assholes equate personal worth with wealth. It's the same.
Yeah, they'll be like, look at Chloe and Halle. Like, Chloe and Halle got Beyonce's attention. Why don't you have Beyonce's attention, or your equivalent to Beyonce's attention? It's like, I hate to break it to you, but Matt and Karen kind of were my Beyonce. So
yeah, exactly.
To, like, not in like a, I would never compare two white people to Beyonce, but like
that's not what you were doing.
Just like good people making good art and not sacrificing their morals to achieve greatness.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they've done. And those kinds of people like me in an artistic sense, in the sense of what I want to do for the rest of my life. So, like, that's an accomplishment. And you have the same thing. You had people believing in you in university, and people who are happy that you're going down this voice acting path that you're going down right now. Your voice coach who works in the industry likes you as a voice actor.
I hope so.
And she does. And that's an accomplishment in and of itself, you know? Like, we have this channel, and that's an accomplishment in and of itself. We don't have much to say for it yet, but it's going somewhere.
It's not, yeah, you know, I
and
mean,
I
like,
have faith.
It's a process.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm proud of it, you know? That's something that I have to hold on to when people ask me what's going on in my life, you know, because I don't have a job, you know? So,
yeah.
It's good enough.
It just goes back to what I was saying. You can't compare yourself to others.
Yeah.
Everyone's got their own journey, and you'll find where you need to go at some point.
I feel like every 4 podcasts, we do the You Are Good Enough podcast episode.
It's because we are telling ourselves that, and we don't believe it.
I'm starting to believe it a little bit more.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. All right, Sam, listen. When this bottle hits the floor, I'm going to end the podcast.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.